Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys my first recap on rewatching a certain series. That is Fate Zero, Episode 1. Now, like I said, those of you who kept up with me in my channel, I'll be rewatching this series along with the other core to prep up for the route that's coming out next year. And I'm just doing this for fun, nothing special and nothing more. But as usual, I'm pretty somewhat excited in a certain way for the Heaven's Feel next year. And that's why I'm just rewatching this just to prep up. And I heard a lot of my friends told me you best not to watch it because it's gonna give a lot away. But I'm just doing it because I just want to. And I do know a little bit of the story of Heaven's Feel a bit here and there because of certain aspects of my friends spoiling or me looking back on certain information 10 years ago. Yes, I looked up, I read a little bit about this Heaven's Feel route like a decade ago, so don't be too shocked or surprised or something. But for the time being, when I watched Fate Zero, like, how am I supposed to say it? Many years ago, make it like freaking 4 years, make it like freaking 2 years ago or something like that. Yeah, I think it's about 2 years, 2016 and so forth. I started watching Fate Zero on the year of 2014. That's when like Unlimited Blade Works just was being adapted by Ufotable itself. Yada yada yada. You guys get the point. Anyways, I'm just doing Fate Zero for fun because just to prep up for Heaven's Feel next year, and I look forward to it. So if anything else, let's just get this started. Okay, at the beginning of the episode, we have to it that a guy named Kiritsugu was told that his child is born. And of course, it is shown that it's Ilia's Spiel. And after a little small talk with Airi Spiel, of course, her name is mentioned later. Those of you who watch Fate Zero would know what's up. After a small talk with Kiritsugu and Airi, of course, Kiritsugu says, I'm gonna be killing you in the end. You do realize that, right? But Iris Spiel says, yes, I know, but right now, like, even though you say you don't have the right to hold the child you have, it's best for you to, like, know what she feels like in your arms, that kind of thing. Because, those who even watch Fate Zero will know what Kiritsugu's goal is. Of course, it's also said towards the end of this episode, which I'll never forget how much of a pain in the butt it is to watch a 48-minute episode. I did this many times before, and sometimes it's fun, but unless it has a lot of information that's related, it's understandable. So yeah, and of course, like as the episode continues, we get to see a scene with Tosaka Tokiyomi along with Kirei Kotomine and his father, apparently. As you can see, they're forming an alliance, apparently, and something involving about the Holy Grail War, which it has a big history behind it, which is said in this episode, etc., And, of course, like, the Holy Grail does choose the people to be in the war. Like, we already have, like, Kiritsugu chosen. Of course, that's shown at the beginning. And then, like, Kotomine Kirei, and then Tokiyomi and so forth, yada yada yada. Of course, they're gonna feel like they're gonna fight each other, but that is not really the case, That's to fool everybody. Another thing too is that like we get to know a little bit history about Kotomine Kirei a bit, how he like becomes a student of the Tosaka, in this episode, getting prepped up for the Holy Grail War that's bound to come in the next couple of years. But this episode right here goes through a time traveling aspect. Not like time traveling aspect like going back in time, but skipping to one scene, skipping to this scene, talking about what year it is, It was hard for me to catch up when I started rewatching it. No denying that. But eventually we got to know that Kirei had a wife and of course she died or something, Which is something I've forgotten or I should have remembered, but it's been many years since I, like, watched Fate Zero, so, yeah. Even so, like, I don't pay attention to these small little details here and there. And, of course, like, it goes back to, like, 1 year ago in Fuyuki City. And, of course, like, Kariya, on the other hand, comes by to see Aoi-san, sees Rin, and asks what Sakura is after presenting her with some kind of necklace, some kind of bracelet or some kind of stylish bracelet, whatever you want to say it. But apparently, Aoi-san tells Kariya that she is adopted to the Matō family, you know? And of course, like, a couple, like, conversations here and there happening about, like, being part of a mage's family or something, married to a mage and so forth. Aoi-san, I don't know. I'll be sure to talk more about that later, you know, and so forth. And as the episode continues, of course, we have to it that Kariya decides to go to Zoken himself, which is the head of the Matō family. He was pretty upset to see Kariya here because of what he's doing, you know? He left the Matō disintegrate or go so low because of him, because he left the Matō family's magic long time ago. And therefore, like, we have to it that Kariya wants to make a trade or a deal. But apparently, Zoken told Kariya that he was a little too late. So I just go like, oh boy, here we go again, you know? And we get to know that Sakura-chan, which I know she's going to play a big role, obviously, in the route for next year, is that she is covered up in bugs, which is really, really sad and so forth. And of course, Zoken decides to consider it if he could grab, like, the Holy Grail for him, you know, which Kariya mentions that he wants to gain immortality, which is an omnipotent wishing grant device. And we get to know Archibald Kenneth is going to be one of the masters as well. But he humiliated Velvet Waver about his fantasy-like thing about, like, mage's blood and so forth. And kind of, like, gotten Waver pretty upset. And he ends up being given a relic of an errand he was on. And he got to do some research about the Holy Grail War that three mage families were, like, involved in here, you know? Which is, like, of course, I'm pretty sure it's the Ainsburns, Tosakas, and I don't know what the other family are. But hopefully, like, I got that information correctly. If I didn't, you're more than welcome to slap me across the face and say, you should have paid attention more, you idiot, and so forth, you know? And, of course, like, when Wayward was doing this research or something on the Holy Grail War, which happens every 6 decades or something, or 60 years, however you want to say it, there's, like, these servant types that I summon. That's Saber, Archer, Raida, Caster, Berserker, Lancer, and Assassin, you know? Almost forgot those 7 types of servants, even though I've been rewatching a lot of parts here and there of Fate Stay Night and Fate Zero, the Fate series. You know the point, okay? You guys get it. And so forth. And we have to it that there's some research that they're doing everything they got, especially Acto, which his name is revealed later, that the Tosaka realizes that the Ainsburn is summoning a person that's outside of their family, and it's gonna go crazy headlong trump card on this one. And we get to know that, like, this person right here is telling Kiritsugu to have no survivors this time, bring the Holy Grail, and activate the third true magic after killing everybody or something, Heaven's Feel, which is something that is really related to the next route, which I look forward to next year, because I don't know the full story of it, but I know some bits and parts of it, and so forth. So yeah, we get to know that Kire Kotomine decided to do his research on Kiritsugu himself, because he's surprisingly this guy that did a lot of assassins, poisoning, sniping, all kinds of unforgivable methods that's related to the Magi, you know? Or Mage Association, or the Mage World, however you want to say it. Forgot to mention that Tokiomi's dream is to reach the root or something, which, I don't care much about that, but if it's really important later, I'm sorry for leaving that out, you know? Or forgotten to say about that. But we also see to it that Kire decides to, like, take a look at Kiritsugu, because he is this man that did a lot of stuff, especially destroying an entire plane or jet line because his target was on there, especially with all the innocent people right there. So I just go like, well, those of you who watch Fate Zero would know how this man rolls, you know? Took me a while to understand him, a long, long time to understand him. But Kiritsugu himself is actually afraid of Kire, because he learned a lot of magic known as necromancy, healing, I don't know what else he did, but one thing was sure, he changed positions and is an executor, or executor against mages, you know? Which is something that Kiritsugu says, he frightens me, dude. This guy is gonna be freaking difficult enough for me to make me scared. And honestly, seeing how Kiritsugu is really trembling down on his knees, or he's really scared of this guy, Kire, just shows that there's someone at his level, or at a level that's beyond him, to put him to a point where he's like, I'm really dead on. You know? That kind of thing. And as the episode continues, of course, we have two that they have no passion at all or something, and they're just asking themselves this question, yeah, from Kire to Kiritsugu, like, what is he after exactly, you know? That kind of thing. And we have two that Kariya himself, of course, like, he went through a years long of training, but that kind of training kind of like, gave him an ugly look, because he had crest worms implanted in him, which took me a while to understand the Mato's magic here and there, honestly, you know? Because, like I said, even though I watched Fate Stay Night a long time ago, I don't know a lot of freaking big old info into it, you know? That kind of thing. That is one thing I will say for sure. As for Waver Velvet himself, he is actually chosen as a master. Of course, Kariya is too. Forgot that information. And we have to it that Waver did fool the two elderlies to say that he's the grandson. And I'm thinking in my mind, what the hell? And we get to know about like the magic or relic that Kiritsugu was given, you know? Which is something that's very important, because this thing does play a giant role in the story, and it says it's to heal the person, stop them from aging, that kind of thing, you know? And of course, we all know what that is, and Kiritsugu is going to summon Arthur Pendragon. And there was a little scuffle between little Rin-chan and Kire, you know, that kind of thing, as they have to go because the war is about to start and things are going to get ugly. As for Sakura-chan talking to Kariya, which her eyes are pretty damn well lifeless, you know, because she's been thrown into a bug room for about like 3 days, you know, and then the 4th day she did not scream or anything from head to toe, violated. Oh gosh, I don't even want to think about it. Why am I even imagining it? Anyways, besides all that, it seems like the Tosaka Tokiyome found his relic. And we get to know that things are going to get a little hectic from here on out, as Kariya is told to summon a servant that will assist him and raise his stats to the peak level or to maximum level. As for Waver's continuing his circle, so did Kiritsugu and Tokiyomi. Every single one of them, of course, like it's shown, Waver, Kiritsugu, Tokiyomi, and Kariya summons their servants. Of course, like, of course, Waver is really surprised to see a guy in a cape, which I will not say the name because it's not shown yet, and so forth. And yeah, that kind of thing. So, and we also get to know that the servant that Tokiyomi summoned says, "We won this battle. Look at here." And it's a guy in gold armor, which I look forward to again. And then Kiritsugu was asked this question by the servant, "Are you my master? Did you summon me?" And it rolls on to the playing the Fate oath sign, you know, from freaking played by Lisa. Oh my gosh. As for Kariya, he summons a servant, of course, that is called Berserk. And we all know what his servant is exactly, because of Mato Zoken telling him put in Berserk in one of your incantations. And we only get to know the backside or his back of a servant, which is like an aura-like thing, and it looked like he had a helmet, and we all know who that is. And we have to it that things are gonna get really hectic from here on out. Of course, I get to know what are the servant types that are summoned, and obviously there's no denying it, but I will not reveal their types yet until it's revealed later, because that's how I roll my videos, even though I watched it already. Anyways, as for the recap, you know, and so forth, and rewatching Fate Zero, not too bad. I'm pretty excited, you know, rewatching the series again, even though like I'm going to be doing this weekly because I want to, and it's just for fun. I look forward to see how this goes, you know. So I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but one thing for sure, it's gonna get pretty hectic from here on now. Starting next week, you could expect episode 2 recap a little bit earlier, hopefully, than this one, because this episode right here was freaking like 48 minutes long, or 47 minutes and 25 seconds, or whatever the seconds is, you know. So looking forward to it. Until then, like I'll see you guys in my next video. So I'm out for Zitto. Have a good day, and I'll be sure to see you guys next time. Right? Peace out. Bye bye. Toodaloo.